Hi, I'm Donna from the Lost Closet 12, and I am a part-time reseller of most things on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and I have a Flipped Friday with you today. Just nothing really huge, just your basic run-of-the-mill sales, and I'm going to share them with you today. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit the like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I upload new videos. And we're just going to start. I'm going to do them in the order that they sold because that's just the way I did it. Sometimes I organize it eBay, Poshmark, Mercari. But for the sake of time, I just opened the pages as they sold. So this is for the week of October 11th through the 17th. And for some reason that doesn't sound right. And I think last Flip Friday I messed up the dates, so there might be a repeat of the things that sold at the end of the week. But up first is Plush Teddy Bear by Dan D with glasses, knit sweater, approximately 11 inches by Soft Expressions. He was just too cute not to list. I wrote him November of last year. He was a bins pickup, 77 cents was my cost of goods, and he sold for a whopping $3.30. I thought that he would have done better, but you never know. This is another eBay sale, Silvertone Y necklace, open ovals, vintage costume jewelry. This was a red, white, and blue pickup from the bags. My average cost was $2 per item. I wrote it in March, and it sold for $11.99. And there we go. Mattel 2016 Purple Barbie Nursery Changing Table Doctor's Cart. I just recently learned about these replacement parts and these toys. Some of them sell for very decent money. Most of them are small sales, like $10, $15, or maybe even $5 to $8. But if you're picking them up at the bins, your cost is pennies, and most of them don't take up a lot of space. So I've been learning more about toys over the past year or two. And this, it was a bins pickup. 21 cents is what it cost me. I wrote it in February of last year. Some of them don't take that long to sell. Some of them sell immediately. This I really liked. This is a women's extra large knit midi dress, fox wrap, romantic ruffled hem, purple belted empire waist. I feel like I ran out of characters. This was a bins pickup. It was £1, so it cost me $1.69. I wrote that this past June, and it sold for $18 on Poshmark. This is a VTech Switch and Go T-Rex muscle car, easy to transform, lights up and effects. This was a bins pickup. 48 cents is what it cost me. I wrote it in April of 25, and it sold for a whopping $6 on Poshmark. So not a lot of meat left on the bone, but I did make a little bit of money, and I learned. This skirt here, it was on sale for $6. Someone offered me $5. I'm like, fine, whatever. I've had it for a while. It took them like 5 days to pay me. Like, I don't understand that. Maybe on Depop I don't get paid. Once in a while on Mercari. Almost never on Poshmark. But I don't, this is the second time this has happened to me recently, and I don't know if it's something on my end or if it's something on eBay's end or the buyer's end. But well, anyway, they paid for it, and I did ship it out. I was very annoyed. I feel like if they take 5 days to pay, I should be able to take 5 days to ship it, but it doesn't work that way. So, where are we? Oh, when I took my notes, it was non-payment. So, this was written in October of 24. It was probably a bins pickup, probably cost me under $1, and it sold for $5, not $6. Keen's Toddler Girls Outdoor Sandals, size 9 purple, Newport H2 washable. I picked up a couple of these. They did really well. This particular pair was returned to me because it didn't fit, and then I relisted it and it sold almost immediately again. This was a bins pickup. My cost, I have it down for $1.26. I wrote it in June and it sold for $15 on Poshmark. And these are cute. Winnie the Pooh figures, cake topper, Disney, Piglet, Rabbit action figure. These things, cake toppers, replacement parts. You know, I don't know the sets that they came from. So that's how I wrote it. It was a bins pickup, 22 cents. I wrote it in September of last year. And again, I didn't make much money on it. So I would have probably done better if it sold on eBay or Depop. $5 from offer on Poshmark. So I made like $2. It's okay. Up next, we have Youth T-shirt, medium Marvel, Groot, Guardians of the Galaxy, short sleeve graphic tee. I thought it was cute. This was a bins pickup. I had my cost. This I've had for over a year. I had my average cost of where I used to count everything and then divide. If I had 10 pieces, I would divide how much I paid into 10. You know, so I'd get an average cost. I have my average cost down for $1.59, but by weight, this did not cost me $1.59. That's why I changed it. I've had it for over a year. I don't have the date that I wrote it, and so I probably had it closer for $2. And it sold for $10 on Mercari. Leather Poshmark sale. Poshmark does like in spurts. It'll do like I'll have no sales for a week on Poshmark, and then all of a sudden I'm still raspy. My last video I was raspy. Well, anyway, where was I? I'll have no sales on Poshmark, and then I'll have a whole bunch of sales, like 5, 8, 10, like real close together. I don't know if I don't know the reason. Maybe I'm more active or delisting and relisting more. I don't do that on Poshmark, so I don't get in trouble. When I delist and relist, I just update it on Poshmark. So maybe that's what it is. I used to just not touch it, but recently I've just started hitting the update. If I change it by $1, I hit update. If I don't change it, I hit update. So maybe that's it. Well, anyway, they were a bins pickup. They were a rewrite in August of 24. So again, this is my average cost, $2.80, and they sold for $10 on Poshmark. Old Navy barrel leg high-rise pants, women's brown square pockets. These were cool. I don't know. Yeah, the barrel leg has been doing really well, and these have a high waist. They're plus size. So Old Navy is not the best brand, but these sold pretty quickly for me, if I remember correctly. I wrote them in August. They were bins pickup, $2.32. It looks like I wrote. They sold for $14 rather quickly. So in 2 months they sold. So sometimes even if the brand isn't that big of a brand, the style will help it sell and help you get a better price. And for these, I would say, in my opinion, that it's the high waist, the plus size, the barrel leg. So yeah, this I've had for a while. I thought it would do better. It was a bins pickup, 80 cents. I've had it for years. September of 24 is when I purchased it, and it sold for $14 on eBay. Probably someone needed it for a Halloween costume. These are just McDonald's toys. I don't have the title, so because Depop doesn't have the title, but there are 2015 McDonald's Happy Meal toys, and they're featuring Pokemon Primal Groudon, or however you say. Well, anyway, They were bins pickup, 75 cents is my cost of goods. They were listed in September of last year, and they sold for $10. Men's extra small plaid shirt. Men's extra small shirt, plaid button front, tailored by J. Crew, Martis cotton. This was a very slim fit, small shirt. It was a bins pickup, 61 cents. I wrote it in December of 24. $11.90 is what it sold for. I had sold this once before. It was returned to me. The buyer, I don't remember what the issue was, but they opened it up in the INAD, and I might have recorded it. I don't remember what the issue was, but I was a little salty about that, but I let it go. I relisted it. It sold again, and I haven't heard from the buyer. So, well, oh, back to this shirt. Yeah. When I relisted it, the same buyer who opened an INAD made me an offer on the same shirt. I blocked them. I declined the offer, and I blocked them. I wanted to message them and say, you know, you just dinged my account by ordering this, and say, you know, I wanted to write them the whole book of all my thoughts. I didn't. I just declined the offer, which I never do, by the way. I never decline an offer. Once in a while if I'm in a mood, but normally I don't. Well, anyway, I just blocked them because I don't want them shopping in my store if they're that absent-minded. So, I'm so raspy. Where was I? Men's hiking shoe, men's size 11 hiking shoe, Eddie Bauer, mid-light brown, lace up outdoor. I liked the style. They were in decent condition, and they were a good size. That's why I picked them up. They were a bins pickup. They cost me almost $4. They were written in September of 24. So if you're a reseller and it's taking more than 3 to 6 months, sometimes it'll sell in about a year. I hear don't delist and relist. I hear just leave your item up for 2 to 5 years, whatever. I start marking stuff down after, pretty much after like 3 to 6 months. I'll start marking it down, 50 cents off, $1 off, depending on how long I had it. I go through my listings on the Flipped app from oldest, and I'll start delisting and relisting those, knocking either $1, 50, 25 cents off. I try to leave it like 99, 49, and yeah, I try not to leave it even numbers, but sometimes it happens. So, well, anyway, they were written in September, and they sold for $20.69. These, I would never just pick up one pack of socks. Where was I? Did I even write it down? No. I think I was at the bins, and I was like, I did not write this one down. I missed it somehow. Well, anyway, I was at the bins, and I was like, oh, if I find another pair, I'll lot them up and sell them. If not, I'll just throw it back. Well, I never threw it back, because sometimes you can do that. If you find a small like this that's new in package, it's not going to sell for Buco bucks, but it's light. It's going to cost you nothing. Easy to write, easy to ship. I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to write it. Well, anyway, I was like, oh, I bring these home. So I wrote them. They took a while to sell. Let's see. They were rewritten in February, so I probably had them a year. They sold for $6.99, and I'm not mad about that. They sold, you know, someone needed them, so, and they were easy to write, easy to ship, took no space, and my cost at the bins probably like 5 cents. So this is a damaged, it's a nice jacket, but it's damaged. It's a Union Sex sweatshirt jacket, 2XL. Black zipped pocket champion performance. Where is the damage? Did I just do that? Okay. Well, anyway, Do I have the damage here? I don't remember what the yeah, the sleeve, that's the inside of the sleeve is ripped, and I missed it when I picked it up, so I just listed it and I made sure I wrote it. If something is flawed significantly like that, I always write read flawed, something in the title to bring the buyer's attention. And yeah, this is not in order. So the sweatshirt was $2.08. It was a bins pickup. It was written of October last year, so it took an entire year to sell, and it sold for $7.79. And I don't know where I was, so we're going to just okay, so this was a Macari bundle sale. It cost me $4. The bundle sold for $18, and they were written in March. So I have, come on, this brooch along with this one's really pretty. Come on. And this brooch. They sold together on Macari. It was a red, white, and blue pickup. I don't know if they came from the same bag, but they both had a $2 average cost, and they were both written in March, so I would imagine they came from the same bag. So yeah, so not bad. This one's so pretty though. I felt like that one would have sold on its own, but there you go. This is a Rock'em Sock'em replacement part, teal blue controller, Rock'em Sock'em. I had a couple pieces that are, they're not flying off my shelf, but I'm selling the replacement parts to it. This was a bins pickup. This piece cost me 28 cents. I wrote it in September last year. I feel like I just rewrote this one too. It sold for $5.99 on eBay. This is, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to break down my numbers. This is a Squishmallow Puppy and Mouse plush lot, approximately 6-inch Kelly Toy stuffed animal. It's a lot of 2 small plushies. This was gifted to me. I wrote it in September of last year. Sold for $9.99 on eBay. I don't, if you're new to something like a platform, if you're new to buying online or playing a game or using a different app or whatever, you're going to make mistakes. It's going to be a learning process. But I feel like you should know if you are having something shipped to your house. Now, I live in a weird area. It depends how it's getting shipped. I always have to know how it's getting shipped before I put in my shipping address, because if something's being shipped FedEx for me, it's going to land nowhere. So the next town over. So if it's United States Postal Service, it's going to come to my post office box. If it's being shipped by any other platform, I have to use a different address with a different zip code, because it's just, I live in the middle of nowhere. So maybe this lady had the same issue, I don't know. But after I sold it, she and I shipped it, she emailed me like the next day after it was already tracking, and said, can you update the post office because my address is incomplete? And she gave me her right address. Well, there was like some building or something that's supposed to go in the address, her name, the building, and then the street address. I don't know if I can do anything about that. Like, you're supposed to update that. You know, when you put that in, your address, you're supposed to put your complete address in. So I emailed her back, and I went to the post office. I told her I can't get the post before it closes today, because I got the message when I was at work. And I had like 8 minutes. I wasn't running to the post office. So I went the next day and I talked to the lady, and she just shrugged her shoulders. She's like, there's nothing I can do. And I was like, well, then it is what it is. I hope she gets her item. I don't know. Like, I hate being judgy, but this is simple stuff. It's not hard. I don't know. Maybe she wasn't, I don't know. I can't come up with a good reason why someone would put an incomplete address to have something shipped to them. But that's my little tiff of the day. And I hope the lady gets her item. You know, the post office, they know. Like, they kind of know. Well, anyway, thanks for watching. And if you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit the like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I upload a new video. And I'll see you on the next one. All right, bye. Thank you.